usually we are all continuing living out the relational patterns that we have learned in childhood. If our parents have been very healthy and able to connect to us fully, the full range, then naturally we continue with that and we will have a happy life, more or less. If our parents did not have so much capabilities to relate to us in a healthy way, in the full spectrum of emotions, then the idea we build during childhood, what relationship is, how the world is, how I am, gets more and more destructive and distorted. And because we have no other idea, no other context, that what we experience as children becomes the basis of our life, and that is what we project onto the world later on. So the more destructive the relationship to our environment was in the childhood, the more we suffer later in life when we are grown up, because we constantly create separation and distance. That's what I explained in the last video. Now, one configuration is what happens very often if people have experienced any kind of abuse in childhood or danger, and their trust, their openness was either misused or resulted in very destructive or even dangerous experiences, then all their life will circle around trust. And as the problem in childhood could not be resolved, because a child cannot just go to other parents, there is no solution in childhood for destructive relational patterns. And I don't mean single bad experiences. This is not the problem. The problem arises as soon as parents have patterns that are constantly active in the relation to the child, and that means either even destructive processes or just emotions that the parents cannot hold and that they have to suppress inside of them, and also of course in the child. So if this happens, the child and later the grown-up circles around the issue of trust. And from the point of view of these people, trust seems to be the problem and the solution. So they constantly search for something on the outside whom they can trust, who they can trust. And this is the problem of the childhood. They try to find security. And the idea is, if I find something on the outside, someone on the outside who is trustworthy, who I can trust, where I feel safe, where I am safe, then this is the solution for all my problems. The point is that this would have been the solution in childhood, but there was no such possibility because we are dependent on single parents. And today, as a grown-up, we do not depend biologically from single persons, so we can choose. But the tricky thing is, as grown-ups, we don't realize that it's not anymore about trusting, about a safe environment, but instead it's about relating. So this is something we see with practically everyone who is traumatized, who suffers from developmental trauma. They try to find a pattern that they can use from their mind throughout all relational situations. And in that case, I'm describing here, it is the idea I have to find someone and then I trust and then everything is okay. No, it's not like that. And even if you would find someone like that, which is impossible, but if you would find someone who's like an angel or whatever, this would not solve your problem, because it would not create a connection. What you try to do is you try to implement an idea. Yeah, so it comes from the mind, not from your core of your emotions and needs and desires. So even if you would find someone like that, it would not create the relationship, the deep contact, and thus the regulation your body is seeking. Something else is needed. First, you need to know that the whole idea around trust is not the point. It's not about trusting, it's about relating. And this is something completely different. And it's important for you, if you have such an issue, it's important for you to understand the difference between searching for something that is trustworthy and the actual relating to someone in every moment new. So instead of searching for a static pattern, for a static situation, for something that is statically safe and predictable, you have to learn to relate to an object, to someone else in every moment new, depending how the man or the woman or the object behaves. And this is something completely different. The first thing is the environment that a child needs, and the second is your reality as a grown-up. Relation is always a relation to that, how something behaves now, in this moment. So if someone comes close to you, for example a friend, and the friend behaves in a very negative way, you react accordingly. You have to say, no, this is not okay for me. You can't do that with me. It's hurting, for example. Or if you are attacked by a stranger, there you really have to defend yourself. It's not about relating, it's about defense and self-protecting. If you need something, you have to approach your friend and tell him, well, I really need this and that. Can't we do that? Or even if you yourself feel anger and rage, you have to tell it, well, to your friend, I'm feeling very angry right now. This is relating to humans, to other people, as they are now, today, and you do not depend on them anymore. That's why you can relate to them, and that's why the whole problem doesn't exist anymore. But you have to start really relating instead of separating and dreaming of trustworthy people, because then you are living completely alone. That's the difference. If you dream of someone who you can trust, you live alone. It's just an imagination about the future that keeps you alive. No, it's not necessary, and it will never happen. What your mind suggests or what your mind dreams of is not the solution, and will never be. You have to relate and interact with people how they are now, in this moment. This is the solution, and this is something your mind does not know. It's absolutely new, and it maybe feels even dangerous, but there is not such a danger that your mind projects, because you are grown up and you can relate in every moment new. If there is danger, you run away or protect yourself. If there's a very nice, beautiful being, you open yourself and tell more about you. That's relating instead of dreaming about trust